What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with 3 weeks out physique update from Regan Grimes. So this is gonna get some people talking because Regan took his strongest body part, which was his back, and the man added more width and density there, and he took his back to a whole new level this time around. So we're gonna see how that back compares with some of the top Olympians at this year's New York Pro. But here right now, it does look to be one of the best in the business right now. And I have got to say, unlike some of Regan's previous updates, where he got that criticism that he just won't be ready on time. But here right now, less than 4 weeks out, the man looks to be in a superb condition. And all those comments about someone not looking on point, let's say 5 or even 6 weeks out, they just don't make any kind of sense. Most of these guys at the highest level, they have this ability to change very fast. And what Stefan, Regan's coach, was trying to do is feed him enough food that he holds on to all that mass that he built during this past off-season, while slowly and steadily chipping away, little by little, and be ready on the day of the show, and not before that. And the main reason for that was, Regan loses a lot of fullness while chasing that crispy kind of conditioning. And we have seen that happening so many times in the past. And the fact is, he just cannot afford to come in downsized or with the same size as he did back at the Olympiad 2023, which by the way was his last show, or he's gonna get dominated by a number of guys at this upcoming New York Pro. The entire bodybuilding world wanna see Regan considerably bigger this time around. They wanna see Regan show up with bigger quads, a fuller chest, and more biceps, because he's coming back after almost 16 months. And this was the last time Regan took the whole year off, because this was the second time in the last 3 years he did that. Now his last Miss Olympia back in 2023, that was the best condition of Regan. But he wasn't satisfied with that overall package. So the men's open, that is a lot about the size and the density and the thickness. And for a guy with a frame like Regan Grimes, he can afford to put on, let's say, another 10 or even 20 pounds of more muscle, and he's still gonna look very aesthetic. He doesn't have to worry about blowing his waistline. Now it will be interesting to see how this peak comes about, as the New York Pro is gonna be his first show with Stefan as his coach. So this isn't an old video of the beast Roly Wangler. This was actually taken earlier today, and what can I say? Still one of the best arms in the world. Do not forget that Roly is about to turn 48 in less than 2 months. And for those of you guys who do not know, this is Roly's 4th year into retirement, as the last Miss Olympia that he did, that was back in 2021. And he took time completely off everything, from training, from dieting, from the PEDs, because he was going through a shoulder surgery, and then all that recovery phase. But now the man has been training for quite some time now, and that is kind of evident on his current physique. So if there is anything that Roly truly regrets, or is there something that he would change if he could go back in time, then that is his training style. That shoulder injury made him realize that he should not have trained so hard and heavy all the time. And the man also once quoted that the way the Blade Dexter Jackson trained, especially during that later part of his career, that was the best way to go to preserve longevity and to avoid any kind of injury. So Roly's arms, they will forever stay in the discussion as one of the greatest arms of all time in the entire bodybuilding history. So glad to see him training with good intensity, and this is required from Roly Wangler by his sponsors to stay relatively big and lean and to look huge to some extent. So Roly's last shot, and I'm gonna say the one and only shot at winning the Olympia, that was back in 2019, the year neither Big Ramy, Phil Heath, or the reigning Olympia champion at that time, the late Sean Roden, competed, and that was a wide open Miss Olympia, and Roly was the highest placing guy from the Olympia back in 2018. But Roly was very inconsistent with nailing his conditioning, and that was the case throughout his career. Still, one of the best arms in the game, and one of the biggest freaks of nature that we saw in the history of this game. Guys, we have a limited time offer. If you buy any flavor of Bloodshot, you are gonna get a free Dying Breed t-shirt. The discount code is on the screen right now, and use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount. So one of the best physiques outside of the IFBB Pro League, Destiny, aka Bodebi Davo, he just won the Siberian Pro and won $40,000 in the prize money. Although we all want to see him make that switch to the biggest league in the world, to the IFBB Pro League. Because fact of the matter is, that is gonna make him push to his absolute limits, harder than ever, as the caliber of competition, that is just so vastly different, especially in the pro ranks, between these two leagues. That being said, they are giving away very hefty prize money, so Destiny is making good living while staying in that league right now. So the thing that was most noticeable about his posing routine last night, that was him hiding that unbearable pain after having that cramp on his abs. And the man still continued with his routine. And he did not even blink, not even once, or showed that he's feeling any kind of discomfort. Now, if you have ever experienced any kind of cramp, especially on your midsection, it is probably one of the worst things ever. So there may be some of you guys who might remember this. Roly Wangler having a terrible cramp on the stage back in 2019 Arnold Classic. Now that was a moment that Roly would like to erase from his memory. So coming back to Destiny, I think he should seriously consider switching over to the IFBB Pro League. The fact is, he's gonna continue to dominate in his current federation, as the man is just way too good for the competition there. So the man won this show pretty damn convincingly, and not just this year, he did that last year as well. And the man has put up together extremely well. So does anyone out there know the weight at which he normally competes? So in case he switches over to the IFBB Pro League, whether he's gonna be in the 212 or in the men's open bodybuilding, please do let me know if any of you guys have that information. Next up, we have an update from Terrence. Just watching him going absolute balls to the walls on that leg extension, you can kind of understand what kind of leg burn he must be experiencing right now. So gone are the days when the competitors used to do countless drop sets as they got closer to the competition. So Terrence right now is just over 2 weeks out from his first show of this year, the Pittsburgh Pro, his comeback show. And the man is not only lifting pretty damn heavy, which is kind of insane if you think about it, but at the same time, he is making progress in some of his lifts. He's actually going heavier. So this right here is next level peeled. And we are about to see a totally different version of Terrence on the stage this time around. So other than the year 2022, conditioning has never been an issue for him, as the man is mostly peeled inside out in every single show. But just imagine 10 more pounds of muscle on that frame. That is gonna be so mind-blowing. And we all know, Terrence is just a master when it comes to posing and presentation. So he's gonna be more confident than ever this time around. Now if I have to guess, I don't think his session is gonna end by potentially winning the Pittsburgh Pro. He's gonna continue to compete. And if Terrence can diet and prep for let's say another 6 more weeks, there is a big check for him, $70,000, waiting for him at this upcoming Dubai Pro, a show that he has won in the past as well. The motivation level for someone like Goodvito, that just could not get any better than this, as he arrived in the US and he had the privilege to train with none other than the former Miss Olympia and the reigning Arnold champion Derek, whom by the way he's gonna share the stage with in just over 2 weeks time. So how interesting is that? All 3 of these guys, Ramon, Derek and Goodvito, they're gonna be on this year's Olympia stage, and all 3 are being coached by Chris Aceto. Now Goodvito could have shut the season down after winning this past Arnold Brazil, and he could have just focused on the Olympia this year, maybe go through another decent off-season. But we have to give him the respect for taking on this challenge, because let's face it, he's gonna stand next to some of the biggest freaks in the world, some of the best guys in the men's open, and all these guys have their own strengths, the kind of strengths that can expose someone like Goodvito and his flaws. Now Vito's squads, they're gonna be some of the best in the game, if not the best. And what we really wanna see is how another few weeks of dieting that changes his look this time around. Now he was in a great condition when he won the Arnold Brazil, but we saw a similar trend from him last year when he made his pro debut at the Arnold Brazil, and the man looked absolutely shredded. But he was able to come in a lot better for Detroit Pro last year. So Goodvito does need to work on his shoulders. He needs more bigger and more rounded delts, and maybe put on more thickness in his arms, especially in those side shots, and that will make him a lot more combative and a lot more complete. But still, the man is a solid contender to place as high as top 4 at this upcoming mighty Pittsburgh Pro. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.